CMOS setting wrong.
This is pretty common case. A display like this usually happens with motherboard more than 3 years old or more. So, you have already followed the common fix. Replace the battery, tighten the battery to socket. But after both steps, you still get this error message. What will you do? Of course, throwing your motherboard to the garbage bin is not an economical solution. So, we need to inspect a little bit deep to the component section. The tool that you really need: a multimeter, an iron solder, solder wires, and 5 minutes of your time. This is the basic schematic for BIOS RTC section. If the BIOS always reset while we disconnect the power plug, one of the reasons is because BIOS chip not getting the energy to store the setting, and the energy is come from the battery. The battery is symbolized with this. This one is positive output, and here is negative. As you know, negative is connected to the ground. In the motherboard, we can find battery in here. This point is the positive, and negative as always connect to the ground. And this one is BIOS VCC chip pin. This motherboard using MX25L8006A as the EEPROM BIOS. From the datasheet, we can determine pin number 5 is the VCC chip. According to the schematic, VCC EEPROM BIOS always get power from the battery while turned off, and get the power from 3.3 volt rail of the power supply while turned on. So we can measure voltage between EEPROM VCC and ground. This should be show a little voltage. Why little voltage? Because if you remember, we have 1 kilo resistor as voltage barrier between VCC and positive battery. If the voltage not found, that means something wrong with the connection. Let's inspect the ASRock motherboard. First, let's check the battery voltage. With the multimeter, red probe to the positive battery and black probe to the ground. As we can see, it shows 2.7 volt. Not very good battery, but enough. This positive battery connect to the other component. Try to measure it, still show 2.7 volt. It leads to 1 kilo ohm resistor, like we see in schematic. Then we try to measure voltage after 1 kilo ohm resistor. It shows 0.6 volt. This voltage is enough to make the EEPROM BIOS keep the setting. Then voltage flow to the other component, a diode switcher. It switch power between 3.3 volt rail from power supply and battery to VCC EEPROM BIOS. Between this diode BIOS and VCC EEPROM BIOS, we have a direct connection. Now let's check the EEPROM BIOS VCC. There's no voltage. Now we've already found the culprit. Failed diode switcher. Let's try to fix this. The right way to fix this problem is the placement of the failed component, but somehow hard to find exact replacement. So we will do something stupid, but at least it works. Just bypass the damaged component with a short wire like this. After a simple fix, let's see the result. Okay, after that simple fix, so if you can see in here, if we turn off the power and wait for the okay, and we turn on the power, you can see the BIOS is not go to error anymore.